Duh.
Gave it to me on my 8th birthday.
What'd you do wrong?
A D?
There's a D, sure.
Okay. Cut to 5 vowels. An A?
Yeah, there's an A.
Attempted on live television. Captain Robbie Knievel's Grand Canyon Death Jump. Live, 2,000 feet deep, 100 miles an hour. To shatter his world record. Tonight, the stakes have never been higher when Captain Robbie Knievel attempts a Grand Canyon Death Jump. Live.
And there it is, one of the most majestic spots on the planet Earth, the Grand Canyon. Tonight, this could be potentially one of the most thrilling nights of network television you'll ever see anywhere. Can anyone jump a motorcycle from one side of the canyon over the rocky cliffs, across the gorge, some 1,200 to 2,400 feet deep below, and land on the other side? It will be a feat unlike anything the world has ever seen, and it could only be attempted by the undisputed superstar of daredevils, Captain Robbie Knievel. He is a tense man at this moment. I'm Mark Thompson with Ron Pitts. It is fitting, I suppose, in this setting that a bizarre set of circumstances have conspired, in a sense, against Captain Robbie tonight.
Yeah, well, you know, you talk about the weather, and that's one thing. It's been the snow, it's been the rain. It started off bad, and it just got worse. And that's something that he's got to play mental ping pong with to decide what he wants to do. But ultimately, you come out here and you look at the size of that ramp, and you say to yourself, wow, this is something big.
Yeah, you can see the gap behind us, and that's what Ron is referring to. That's going to be issue one, I would think,
well,
clearing that gap.
Absolutely. You got to start at the start. He's got to clear the big boy, the pit, the Grand Canyon behind me. That's number one. But when he does that, now he's got to deal with the landing. Everybody thinks it's all said and done then. It's not. One reason why, the extreme angle of the takeoff ramp, because he needs that height to try to cover the distance. Then there's another angle on the landing ramp. Overall, the landing ramp is 9 feet lower than the takeoff ramp. And to give you a good analogy of what this is like, Mark, this is like a golf shot going over water. You know you got to clear the water, so you're nervous, but then trying to land on a very small green, one that's almost impossible to make the golf ball stick. That's what he's got to try to do with the wind and all the other elements.
Very unforgiving on the other side on that landing strip. You're absolutely right. And when you talk about the wind, it brings into play, I suppose, a much bigger issue today. We've seen the most bizarre set of circumstances related to weather that certainly Robbie Knievel has ever seen, and he's seen bad before. He's seen high wind, he's seen heavy rain, but at 8:05 this morning, this is moderate to heavy snow that was falling.
Well, I thought I saw a snowmobile running around there somewhere, but you know, we're talking about this time of the month here. That's very unusual, and that's what I mean about the mental ping pong.
So at 10:30, we're out at the ramps looking at things, and you can see it was still snowing. So these ramps are getting snow on them, and that means they're slick.
They're getting wet, and that means wheel spin, and he can't have that. Wheel spin just generates into lack of speed. Lack of speed means lack of distance later on.
Just before noon today, you can see the accumulation of snow. So the snow was relentless all morning. This is after a day yesterday of relentless winds, which prevented him from rehearsing and essentially running through the jump, even on a practice jump.
Yeah, and that might be the worst part of all, not having the chance to practice adequately because of the weather. That will hurt you more than anything else.
He had a warm-up run scheduled for this morning, but you can see visibilities were so bad. All motorcycles, all ramps, all spots exposed were covered with snow, and that's been the case for much of the day. So it's rather remarkable as we stand here before you that the snows have let up, but it still remains bitter cold.
Very cold. Like I say, the wind bothers me the most. I went up on that takeoff ramp last night. I went up today. And I tell you, with everything else, you still got a pretty hefty wind, maybe 15 to 20 plus, going straight out to the canyon.
There's one daredevil who feels he has the skill, the knowledge, the experience, and the courage to try this stunt. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Robbie Knievel Grand Canyon Death Jump, live. Traveling east, 150 miles from Las Vegas, past the massive Hoover Dam, deep in the barren and desolate Arizona desert lies one of the natural wonders of the world, the Grand Canyon. The Colorado Plateau region is a diverse and spectacularly beautiful terrain known by those who live here as the Golden Circle. And it is here, 2,000 feet deep and 2 billion years in the making, that daredevil Captain Robbie Knievel will face the biggest challenge of his life. This is the sovereign land of the Wallapai Indian Nation, Native Americans that have been living in this part of the country for 2,000 years. An ancient people with a revered heritage of living lightly on the land. In respect for the cultural history of the Wallapai, Knievel built above the land. 20 workers struggled over 1,000 hours to construct ramps and platforms for this jump. Using over 115,000 pounds of steel, a massive takeoff runway 700 feet long was built, towering 31 feet above the canyon edge. The landing area looms in the distance, 20 feet high and 170 feet long. It is the biggest, longest ramp superstructure ever created for a motorcycle jump. A jump so dangerous, so complicated, that the slightest miscalculation could result in a fatal conclusion. To give you an idea of just how dangerous this is, one has to start out with the fact that this is the biggest gap Robbie Knievel has ever attempted to clear. That distance is enormous. He'll have to go faster than he's ever gone. Close to 100 miles an hour when he hits that ramp. Now add that to the wind factor, the weather conditions which have been so very unpredictable and frankly unforgiving so far yet today with the snows that we showed you. There are updrafts and downdrafts actually within the canyon. There are micro eddies that the canyon produces. They could cause a crash landing by moving him up. A downdraft, of course, would mean certain death, pushing him down into the canyon at 100 miles an hour or more. Ron, when I last saw you, the building-to-building jump had intricacies of its own. I wonder if we can review some of those and how that differs from this jump.
Really, you look at the building-to-building, and it was a smaller version of what you have here. Very, very technical. He's coming off one building with a very short takeoff ramp. You can see here he's starting up high to try to get the speed. He had to only shift once. He only had the luxury of shifting once, and now he had to put the bike on a very, very small area. And we made the comparison, it was like landing a plane on an aircraft carrier. Yeah, you got one small shot at a small area. And he really had to put it in that small area. You can see right here, to the left, that white building, that's an elevator shaft. That's trouble. The other side, well, that's the other side of the building. So that for him was just being very, very specific and like a chip shot, so to speak.
Well, it's interesting you talk about the landing here because, as you suggest, on the building-to-building, he had such a limited space, he had to be careful about his speed.
Right.
Here, his speed will be much greater because he has a bigger gap to clear.
Right. The speed there was about 60 miles an hour. The speed here has to be at least 92 miles per hour. Talking to Bill Rundle, his bike mechanic, he said he's got to be at that speed. And then you're looking at the distance. Well, you know, we're talking close to 200 feet to cover the pit. And the pit is intimidating. You stand and you say, well, I can cover that distance. Robbie knows he can cover that distance, but boy, you take one look down and there's always that what if in your mind. And then the complications with the landing ramp. That landing ramp, 9 feet lower because of the differences in the two cliffs than the takeoff.
That's a huge point. How does that affect it, the fact that the landing ramp is lower?
It affects it by a huge hit when he lands. It's 42 feet he's going to have to drop. That is about the absolute most they ever want him to have to do. And they don't like that. They say that's the minimum. If he goes any further than that, it's going to be even more. You know, we're talking 50 feet of a drop. And when you look at it, and we'll look at it later on, you can't even see the landing ramp when he takes off. And
so that 50-foot or 40-foot drop would be such an extreme drop that the bike would be unable to absorb it, and it would send Knievel crashing over and, in a sense, eject him off the bike. You might say, well, if he comes up short and there's 3,000 feet beneath him of canyon, he must be wearing a parachute. Captain Robbie Knievel doesn't wear parachutes, and he was urged to wear a parachute. He won't wear a parachute. And tonight, there is nothing but strong winds blowing up that canyon. In fact, the winds have been so very unpredictable. I'd say there's a sustained wind now of 20 miles an hour. We've had higher gusts. The temperature is in the upper 30s. How is this all going to affect Camp Knievel? Ron Pitts is standing by with Gary Davis. Ron?
All right, thanks a lot, Mike. I got Gary Davis here, Robbie's stunt coordinator. Been with Robbie a long time. Gary, the wind, the rain, the snow, the sleet, anything you want to call it, what are the specific problems it creates for Robbie making this jump today?
Well, you've been with us for the last 3 days, so you know a little bit about it. The weather's not an issue only at the moment of the jump. The weather has been an issue for 3 days. Robbie hasn't had a chance at all to hit his ramp. We've tried to simulate the difference in the ramp heights. You've been speaking about it all morning. The fact that we've had to raise his approach ramp so high in the air, he's never hit it at that angle. So all the speeds that we're throwing out there are estimates at this point, but we've never ever attempted. We were going to simulate it at half the distance to get a feel for how much that was going to affect him. We haven't had a chance every single day. For the last 3 days, it's been sustained 25 mile an hour to 40 mile an hour crosswinds. We woke up this morning to a couple inches of snow over the ground.
Yeah. And you come out here and you look at it and you say, well, it doesn't look that bad. But when you walk up on that ramp and you see the spots of wetness, and over there, it is different.
Yeah, the ramps are still wet all over the place. The crosswinds are still gusting, you know, and you don't know when that's going to hit you. Yeah. Robbie has no way to abort. If he sees the flags going way sideways, he's got nowhere to go. He can't just drive off and fall into the hole.
That's right. Okay, thanks a lot, Mark. Good luck to you. All right, Gary. Okay, let's go back to Mark Thompson right now.
Well, a crosswind is exactly what he has with strong southwest winds. The Robbie Knievel Grand Canyon Death Jump returns in a moment.
Today, we're going to discuss
molars! Tooth care has never been this exciting. Until now, new Trident Advantage, clinically proven to help whiten teeth and reduce unsightly plaque. New Trident Advantage.
Feel the refreshment of Cert's powerful mints. Like skinny dipping from Fargo in February. Cert's powerful mints with Retsin. Keep your powerful cool longer.
Tomorrow, the trap is set. Did he take the bait?
Big time.
Sean Connery, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and Ving Rhames. This is big enough, Meg.
It's never big enough.
Entrapment. Rated PG-13. Tomorrow only in theaters.
Odor eaters' feet are sweeter, fresher, drier, cleaner, neater. Only Odor Eaters insole sprays and powders have genuine Arm & Hammer baking soda. They destroy foot odor and wetness.
Odor Eaters' feet are sweeter.
You still there, Hank?
Yeah, kid.
They sprayed us good, huh?
Yeah, good.
Oh, I never thought we'd get sprayed in the garden. But we'll be okay, huh? I mean, we've been sprayed before, huh, Hank?
Sure, kid.
But I gotta tell you, my roots hurt real bad. Hank, whoever did this is gonna pay. Hank, they're gonna pay big. Hank!
Roundup kills weeds where others can't. Roundup, no root, no weed, no problem.
So beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for pearl.
When you have it your way, it just tastes better.
Thursday thrills on Fox. The all-new special you've been waiting for. The most thrilling chases ever from around the world. Pulse-pounding pursuits.
They got him.
And intense impacts.
Look out! Oh, no!
World's Scariest Police Chases 6, coming up next on Fox.
We are back live, the Robbie Knievel Grand Canyon Death Jump, which has been beset by a conspiracy of weather problems for the last couple of days, and today is no exception. At this hour, even as we've seen the clouds clear, the temperature has dropped 6 degrees even from the beginning of this broadcast. And as you look at the majestic Grand Canyon, it really does not belie the fact that the weather has been so uncooperative, making a dangerous situation all the more difficult. At this hour, a strong south to southwest wind is blowing across the canyon. And as I mentioned, even within the canyon, micro eddy circulation, that is to say, not a sustained wind, but a sort of an idiosyncratic wind, a little tiny circulation created by the canyon can come right up that canyon chute and affect Robbie as he crosses the gap. So even as we look at the sustained winds and we talk all about the crosswinds, we have to be aware that those sudden winds could affect the outcome as well. This is certainly one of the most dangerous stunts ever attempted, and not just because of the sheer distance across the canyon. With this jump, there are additional specific factors that make it a particularly daunting proposition. If this amazing stunt were to go perfectly, Robbie would hit his takeoff ramp at 100 miles an hour. He would fly almost 45 feet above his landing ramp and then cross the canyon over 200 feet to a safe and successful landing. In past world record attempts, Robbie and the crowd explode with relief on a successful jump. If everything goes perfectly here, he will break his distance record and set a new canyon record. But if anything should go wrong on his landing, the 100-mile-an-hour speed would end with a bone-shattering conclusion. We've seen this before, most notably in Hawaii. And then there is the chance of the ultimate disaster. If anything goes wrong on his takeoff, if Robbie comes up short, he would plummet to the canyon floor. None of us want to see that outcome here today. The Grand Canyon's so beautiful, but so unforgiving potentially. We are looking at weather conditions that really are raw. I mean, it's temperatures in the mid-30s. The crowd has come out here nonetheless because, as you can see, this is a pretty seductive scene here if you're a thrill seeker. And there are many armchair thrill seekers who have come out today. Ron Pitts is standing by. He's now moved to the takeoff ramp. We want to see what today's weather has done in terms of affecting that takeoff ramp. Ron, what can you tell us?
Mark, you talk about the weather. Right now, the temperature's 35 degrees. You're at an altitude of 4,800 feet. That's key for one reason. The bike is set up by Bill Rundle, Robbie's mechanic, to operate best at 75-degree temperatures. Like we said, nobody was expecting this kind of weather to happen. So that means he had to go in and fix the carburation, because what happens at higher altitude and coldness, the bike tends to run richer. So they have to lean it out. And when it runs rich, it wants to sputter and bog. You can't have that when you got to clear 200 feet. Another thing, you look at this ramp and there are still some wet spots. That's bad because even though you may not be able to see them, Robbie could hit them, cause wheel spin, and that's what I was talking about earlier. That wheel spin means a loss of speed. Loss of speed means loss of distance. He can't have that here. He's got to make the canyon. You look at this ramp. As you walk up, you think, well, it's not bad. Then you get up here and you start to see what this is all about. He cannot even see the landing ramp from this side, but I can see these flags and they're pushing out toward the canyon. That has to go through your mind and bother you a little bit when you're coming down the runway 92 miles per hour. You'll be on a 500cc motorcycle, pinned. That means wide open, trying to give it everything he's got. That's it from here. Back to you, Mark.
So, Ron, you're saying from where you're standing and where Robbie will be, you can't see the landing platform, so he'd have to orient his bike on takeoff the way he knows or feels it has to be.
He's got to line it up, baby. I mean, he's got to be right on the crosshairs. He's got to keep it pinned, and he's got to hope that the wind, if it's not gusting at that point, doesn't turn into a gust while he's in midair.
So Team Knievel has to also be discussing those wet spots you're talking about, because they really could be trouble for him.
Absolutely, and Robbie's got to know where they're at. He's got to have a walk through and look at them and see exactly what he's up against.
Okay, Ron, it has been a long week for Robbie Knievel, and today perhaps the very longest because, as I say, of the weather. We had snows at dawn this morning. As dawn broke, the snows we'd hoped would be short-lived, but they were not. As you saw earlier, the snows were staying with us through noontime, and we've just begun to see a break in the clouds, but the cold, the bitter cold and the wind has continued here at the Grand Canyon. You know, jumping the Grand Canyon has been a dream of Robbie Knievel's for years, but he's not been permitted to jump on national park property. After years of searching, he chanced upon this portion of the canyon, which is located on the sovereign land of the Hualapai and not controlled by the U.S. government.
This is the home of the Hualapai, meaning people of the tall pines. Robbie Knievel was an honored guest of the Hualapai Nation in the main town of Peach Springs. The tribe's people performed an ancient ceremony they called the bird dance, which is believed to bring favored spirits to whomever it is granted. In this case, the Wallapais wished Robbie good luck on his most difficult jump. Although sovereign, the Wallapai Nation has resisted the temptation to build casinos and take advantage of the highly profitable gaming industry. Instead, they've opted to work as part of the land, respecting its beauty and opening their homes to visitors from the outside world.
There are several enterprises that we have here on our reservation, including the tourist enterprise, which is one of our major revenues that the Wallapai tribe enjoys.
Grand Canyon West also affords the more adventurous with some of the country's best whitewater rafting. Motorized pontoon rafts serve up a thrilling rush through the Colorado River Rapids. Big game hunting, led by native guides with years of experience, offers the chance for record trophy elk, antelope, and mule deer. At Grand Canyon West, you can take a helicopter tour to the bottom of the canyon, enjoy a champagne picnic, boulder hop across the creek beds, or hike into the majestic sides of the canyon and explore the little-known West Rim deep inside the Wallapai Reservation. Robbie Knievel is honored that the people of the Wallapai Nation have allowed him and his crew access to this little-known desert utopia. It is here that he will attempt this momentous and historic leap across Grand Canyon West.
And during the past 4 weeks, the National Park Service and the Department of the Interior have both repeatedly tried to stop Robbie Knievel from making this jump tonight. But the will of the Wallapai Nation and its leaders have kept this dream alive and made it possible for us to bring it here to you tonight. The Wallapai Nation, as a matter of fact, have embraced Robbie Knievel as a warrior. And earlier this week, he received a good luck necklace from the tribe. You can see the ceremony here. He was honored with an ancient blessing ritual from the Wallapai medicine man. And smoke from the burning sage is believed to bring good luck to whomever is anointed. And for good measure, Robbie's motorcycle was blessed in a ceremony immediately after anointing him. And Knievel is acutely aware of the heritage of this people, as we all are. And he wants to once again thank the Wallapai for standing behind him through this adventure. It's an honor for us to be here on this very sacred ground. And the entire Knievel camp was grateful for the support of the Wallapai Nation. This is Robbie Knievel waiting. These are tense moments. And we'll be back in a moment.
Steve Austin for 1-800-COLLECT.
I'm not talking to you. What did I do? You're so insensitive. Dial 0 when you called me last night. You should have dialed 1-800-COLLECT. It would have saved me a bundle. How do you think it makes me feel?
Next time I use 1-800-COLLECT. I didn't mean to hurt you.
Me neither. Dial 1-800-COLLECT or else.
Welcome to Taco Night at the Andersons.
Hey, it's a steam-up marshmallow man!
Taco Night is also movie night at the Andersons.
Bring home the new Grande meals and make tonight Taco Night. Choose any 10 tacos or bean burritos plus a Nachos Bel Grande plus a Mexican pizza, all for just $9.99. And get a coupon for a free Blockbuster movie rental.
Wow, let's make s'mores.
Until next time.
Take it easy. Hey, you. Me? Yeah. Did you ever try cigarettes?
I was 14.
Any reason?
I guess I was trying to be cool or something.
Really?
Well, yeah.
So you tried it because other people were doing it?
Yeah, I guess.
And why don't you do it anymore?
A lot of reasons. Just didn't like it, you know? I don't need to smoke to, like, fit in. Hold up. We finished?
A population held captive by the darkest of evil. Now, the world's last hope is a hero no one has ever seen. This spring, courage has a new face. Honor, a new identity. And the world, a new hero. Lethal Weapon 4's Jet Li is Black Mask. Rated R, starts May 14th.
What color are your teeth? Introducing Arm & Hammer Advanced White Toothpaste. It'll safely whiten your teeth with just one tube. Prove it to yourself with our exclusive whitening guide on every package. You can go from here to here. Great tasting Arm & Hammer makes the difference. We guarantee it. So what color are your teeth? New Arm & Hammer Advanced White Toothpaste. Whiter teeth, one tube, guaranteed.
You've been waiting for it. The most thrilling chases ever from around the world. An all-new special.
Look out!
World's Scariest Police Chases 6 coming up next on Fox.
Welcome back, everyone. The Grand Canyon. What a sight tonight. The crowd has turned out for the, yes, I know, sir, for the Robbie Knievel jump. You can hear them. The temperature, though, has really plummeted. We've lost 6 degrees since the beginning of this program. And the wind, I suppose, 22 miles an hour now out of the south-southwest, one of the big problems, with gusts to 43.
Right, the temperature, that's a problem. The wind, I noticed the most up on the ramp. It didn't look the same, and this is earlier in the day. It didn't feel the same down here until I got up on the ramp, and then it was really bad.
But look at what we've slugged through earlier today. This was just before noontime, lunchtime, on a late April day, snow that was accumulating at Camp Knievel. That has affected the landing and the takeoff ramps, as you might imagine. And these are shots to show you that as those ramps were inspected, they are wet, they are slick in spots. It's quite deceiving because as you tune in now, you see us and the sun has begun to break through.
It looks so good, but I tell you, it's so cold, and there's still wet spots on the ramp. The ramp, they're wood, all wood. It buckles, and you have the uneven spots. That's another thing that starts to scrub off speed for Robbie coming down the ramp, so he's got to be careful of that. That hurts him takeoff-wise, and it really plays havoc when he's trying to land the thing.
And because of weather, there were no practice runs earlier today. Robbie had scheduled practice runs for this morning, but obviously, as we just showed you, there was no way he could perform those practice runs. So he has a series of very difficult problems facing him tonight.
Right, he gets a lot of confidence from those practice runs. I've talked to him after some of his practice runs. He'll give me the thumbs up and say, hey, man, it's there. I'm ready to go. But you don't have those practice runs. Makes you think, how is he thinking now?
And we should say, when we talk about practice runs, he's obviously not practicing the gap. I mean, that is the big jump. But he's able to take smaller jumps to give him some sense of the pitch and of the atmospheric conditions. All right, I want to quickly touch on something almost as incredible as this Grand Canyon jump. It's the fact that we're broadcasting from an area in the middle of the desert that has no power, no phones, no food, no water, nothing. Let's take a look at the behind-the-scenes story of Camp Knievel, a small city that rose out of the sand in order to bring this event to you tonight on live television. The term "we're in the middle of nowhere" took on serious meaning to the production of this live Fox broadcast. With over 95 cast and crew members working on the show, and being 3 hours away from a city to accommodate this group, there was only one answer: build our own city. This is Camp Knievel, complete with its own power plant, restaurant, offices, telephones, and 60 separate hotel rooms in the form of RVs. To build this city, a convoy of motorhomes from Cruise America rolled out of Vegas to create the suburban area of Camp Knievel. Where the blacktop ended, the caravan took on steep and nearly impassable dirt trails to get to the remote Indian reservation where the jump site is located. So remote is this region that even cellular phone service does not work, so a Vertex satellite communication system was specially built for this event using technology originally developed by the military. Well, it wasn't all work. When the sun went down, the cast and crew got a chance to unwind and enjoy the enchanting desert nights with a little music and laughter. 12 to 14-hour days working in the hot sun gave way to nightly jam sessions under the stars.
They say you're judged by the company you keep, so it's good company. That's all I'll say about it.
The entire production staff want to thank everyone for allowing us to bring to the world this remarkable event. Well, a far cry from any partying. Robbie Knievel, a very, very tense moment now, and it may be followed by further tense moments as he evaluates the conditions for his Grand Canyon death jump. We'll be back.
He has the power to take many forms, to move the sands and part the heavens. Now, on May 7th, he will rise again. The Mummy, rated PG-13. Starts May 7th.
You know what I want.
Yeah, me too.
Don't come back with that one. You know what I want. And don't come back with that one.
I only got the one.
Don't come back with that one.
Where's the next store?
Yuma, 150 miles.
Oh, too bad.
Have you ever been to Yuma?
If you can do this, you can make wood beautiful with Minwax. And if you can do this, you can give wood lasting protection. Turning a house into a beautiful home is as easy as turning to Minwax.
This is my cousin Giorgio from Italy. Word has it he really knows Italian food. So last night I took him for the Olive Garden's tour of Italy. It's lasagna, chicken parmesan, and fettuccine alfredo with unlimited salad and breadsticks for $9.95. The Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family.
Go in search of the Loch Ness Monster Simpson style.
He's been down in that icy water for hours. You monster!
Then, Family Guy's the most side-splitting half hour on TV.
Pervert. Oh, don't flatter yourself, honey. I don't have any sweat glands.
It's a night of all new episodes, starting at 8/7 Central, Fox Sunday.
Serving our community is close to the heart of Paul Voorhees. For 35 years, Mr. Voorhees has kept our police officers and our servicemen and women in the best uniforms possible. Keeping Paul happy is a tough job for any salesman. We should know, at Freeway Ford, we've been keeping Paul happy in his choice of automobiles for 9 years. Mr. Voorhees has come to love our selection and our service, like our bumper-to-bumper warranty on select used cars. And on his last visit to purchase his third car from us, Paul was in and out in 20 minutes flat. At Freeway Ford, we place customer satisfaction first. Keeping customers like Paul happy is just our small way of keeping the city of Columbus happy. Freeway Ford. You're gonna love the way we do business. Now, for a limited time at Freeway Ford, Ford Ranger sign and drive lease only $199 a month. Ford Ranger, 0 down, 0 out of pocket, $199 a month only at Freeway Ford. Freeway Ford, you're gonna love the way we do business.
Are you ready to get personal?
I'm Mark. I'm a man of action. The shoe saves me about 36 hours a year. Most people spend a minute, 2 minutes tying their shoes. Me, they're on, they're off. On, off. Boom, you're walking. To Pizza Hut, that is my favorite place.
Here's a way to save time at lunch. Personal pan pizza value meals at Pizza Hut, starting at only $3.99. If it's not ready in 5 minutes, your next personal pan pizza is free. That's 5 minutes or it's free.
I'm gonna sew socks into my pants.
The best pizzas under one roof.
It's high stakes in Vegas when Agent Scully and the lone gunman hit the strip.
I like Kiki.
The X-Files, an all-new episode Sunday at 9 on Fox. Thursday thrills on Fox.
There's been a collision.
The all-new special you've been waiting for. The most thrilling chases ever from around the world. Pulse-pounding pursuits.
They got him.
And intense impacts.
Look out. Oh, no.
World's Scariest Police Chases 6, coming up next on Fox.
Back live. The Grand Canyon Death Jump crowd is chilled by a raw day at the Grand Canyon. Winds have been blowing in excess of 40 miles an hour, a crosswind, which is the worst kind of wind for Camp Knievel, and we have seen bitter cold all day. In fact, snow for the first part of the day. Right now, one would certainly say that these weather conditions are unforgiving. In fact, they're deteriorating. As you can see over my left shoulder, there's some weather moving into the area now. This is an extraordinary display of human courage. Captain Robbie Knievel, you can see him now inspecting the ramp, looking at the sky, and as I mentioned, it's ominous on certain sides, notwithstanding the fact that you can see some sun. The sun is very deceiving. Believe me, as you saw, the crowd is bundled up. The ramp is wet in spots because of all the snows which fell through hours of the morning. And Robbie has some very serious decisions ahead as to how to tackle this jump. You kind of wonder what kind of guy does something like this for fun. Let's take a look at the life of Robbie Knievel, the man. So let's say you jump motorcycles for a living. Not exactly your typical 9 to 5. Your office is a stadium full of screaming fans, and your mission statement is simply stay alive. You break records. You break bones. That's what Robbie Knievel does. He's a motorcycle daredevil. But what does he do when he's not cheating death? Well, you knew it had something to do with engines. Cruising Puget Sound near Seattle, far away from the hard concrete, is one way Robbie relaxes. And hopefully the only crashing out here is the sound of waves against his speedboat. But it's not too long before Robbie feels the need for speed, and he's back on land for a cruise on his custom-made CMC street bike through Washington's Olympic Mountains. Motorcycles have always been a big part of Robbie's life, and recently he and his father Evil lent the Knievel name to a series of signature street bikes, custom-made by the California Motorcycle Company.
I wanted a design, something between a soft tail and a fat boy, and this is what we came up with, and everybody loves it. There's only going to be 499 of these Captain Knievel bikes, and that's what makes them special. There won't be any more made.
The name Knievel is synonymous with daredevil, and when he's not jumping motorcycles or riding them, Robbie's life often revolves around the celebrity of the world of motorcycles.
Did I come and me one go home?
And just this past weekend in Las Vegas, Robbie was honored by the Tropicana Resort, where he was inducted into the Casino Legends Hall of Fame. Then he biked down to Laughlin, Nevada to blow off some steam and take part in the annual Laughlin River Run. It's the third largest motorcycle event in the world. The life of a superstar, glamorous, but at what price? Despite the months of planning and training that's gone into this jump, it is not an exact science, and there are many variables that are out of Robbie's control. If this amazing stunt were to go perfectly, Robbie would hit his takeoff ramp at 100 miles an hour. He would fly almost 45 feet above his landing ramp and then cross the canyon over 200 feet to a safe and successful landing. But if anything should go wrong on his landing, the 100-mile-an-hour speed would end with a bone-shattering conclusion. We've seen this before, most notably in Hawaii. If anything goes wrong on his takeoff, if Robbie comes up short, he would plummet to the canyon floor. That is frightening indeed, and even more frightening, some of the weather conditions that we've been up against. The ramps are set. If you're just joining us, we're at the Grand Canyon Live, and everything is set to go. But a conspiracy of bizarre weather has prevented Robbie from doing any of the practice runs that he would normally do. Yesterday it was wind in excess of 40 miles an hour sustained. There was dust everywhere. Today, cold and snow moved into the area, with winds also gusting to 40 miles an hour and sustained right now at 23 to 25. So we are now seeing a situation in which Robbie and his crew have to evaluate the ramps. Are they too wet to jump? What kind of adjustments might he have to make? And you can see live, the flags are blowing, and that is Gary Davis from Team Knievel looking at just that, the shape of the landing and takeoff ramps. So what's making it even more, making a daunting proposition even more daunting at this hour is the weather. We will be back and we'll talk to Team Knievel in a moment. The Robbie Knievel Grand Canyon Death Jump continues in a moment.
Idle hands are the devil's playground.
This spring,
It's like I have no control over my hands.
if you're not scared,
Look at me! Look at me! I'm Leatherface!
if you're not squirming,
What you doing? CPR, man. I saw him Baywatch.
if you're not screaming,
You scream like a girl.
you must already be dead.
Undead, actually.
Idle hands.
Okay, that wasn't my fault.
Rated R. Opens everywhere tomorrow.
Whoa!
Lawn weeds, huh, Pete?
Yeah.
Try Ortho Weed Be Gone. Kills weeds, won't harm your lawn. Guaranteed.
Didn't hurt my lawn.
Lawn weeds? Leave it to Ortho.
When you have it your way, it just tastes better.
Adam Sandler in a Fox special Thursday movie. And he's going back to grade school.
I am the smartest man alive!
Billy Madison next Thursday on Fox.
It's all the worms you can eat. Guinness Prime Time. All new Fox Friday. Will Smith.
Welcome to Earth.
The network premiere movie event, Independence Day, Sunday, May 23rd on Fox.
That's what I call a close encounter.
It's not that I don't love you. I'm just not in love with you. And, well, I bet someone else.
Tonight's winning numbers are 3, 8, 28, 46, and 6. We hope these numbers were lucky for you. We draw Lotto every Saturday night at 11 and Cash 3 every night at 6:59.
Lotto, Georgia. Wow, what a moment.
If I had a Chevy S10, I'd drive it in the first ever extreme truck competition with events like the rock throw, the hill climb, and truck surfing. Plus, this rugged S10 has all this and an engine that goes 100,000 miles before its first scheduled tune-up. Man, that could be 7 years. By then, I could be the 7-time champion. The price? Just $174 a month with 0 down payment. Huh. After this, maybe I could take it someplace really extreme, the highway. Yeah, that's what it'd be like if I had a Chevy S10.
On the next episode of Seinfeld.
Was it something I said?
She's a virgin. She just told me.
Well, I didn't know.
Well, it's not like spotting a toupee.
I don't think I could do it. You know, they always remember the first time. I don't want to be remembered. I want to be forgotten.
Hey, you guys want to hold it down? I'm watching Jeopardy.
Would you give him back the TV?
Who is Joseph Cotton?
Giddy up!
Tonight at 10 on Fox 54.
Fox Tuesday. Does Luann have a guardian angel?
She is crazy.
An all-new King of the Hill. Then, Fry gets a taste of alien life.
You drank our emperor!
An all-new Futurama. Plus, a wild go-kart jump on an all-new PJs. Followed by a special Simpsons. It all starts at 8, 7 Central. Fox Tuesday.
We are back live, the Grand Canyon tonight, the site of the Robbie Knievel death jump. I'm Mark Thompson with Ron Pitts. We've seen Robbie actually overcome bad weather before. His Tropicana jump was preceded by drenching rains, and then the rains let up for a couple of hours. He was able to jump. Whether he'll be able to do that after all the weather problems we've had today, let's try to get a hint from Ron Pitts and Bill Rundle, the longtime member of the Knievel camp. Ron?
All right, thanks a lot, Mark. And with Bill Rundle, he is Robbie's wrench man, mechanic, so to speak here. Now, we talk about the weather, the rain, the snow, the sleet, all that kind of stuff. What kind of problems have they presented for the bike?
Tell you, Ron, everything that we've done so far has just been so unpredictable. The weather has not cooperated with us. We haven't had a chance to go out and do the speed runs that we need to do. Yeah. You know, this is the jump is very risky to begin with, and it is calculated, but when you start throwing the wet ramps at us, you start throwing the wind at us, it's just not safe. I mean, if Robbie even thinks about putting on his leathers tonight and jumping the bike, he's going to have to run over me at the top of the takeoff ramp because it's not safe, and that's how it is.
What is Robbie thinking about right now? What's going through his head? What are the problems this has created for him?
Oh, Robbie's got a lot on his mind. I mean, today was a day that we were to come out and do all of our testing and make sure everything was right, and they take that day away from us. You know, for the last 3 days, we've had nothing but problems with the wind, with the rain, with the snow, and it's just not, tonight's not tonight to be doing this jump. We have gusts of wind that are at 45 miles an hour right now. The temperature's in the low 30s. It's just not the right time to do this jump.
You talked to me the other day and you said Robbie is a brother to you. You guys have gone through so many jumps together. That has to be difficult for you to even go into that arena and talk about possibly not doing it.
It really is, you know, but I know for sure tonight is not the night for this. That's what I mean. I'll stand in front of the ramp if I have to. He's not going to jump. It's just, there's nothing, everything is against us tonight, and it's just, that's the way it has to be.
I know how much this means to you, Bill. I know how much you put your heart into it as well as Robbie, and obviously it's taken its toll on everybody here, but it's something you have to do.
Yeah, you know, we put a lot of hard work into this, and to have to walk away from it, you know, so be it. But, you know, we'll just have to come back and hopefully do it another day.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Bill. Let's go to Mark Thompson right now.
Well, there you heard it. Team Knievel now really saying the conditions are just not right for this jump. Let's try to hear it from Robbie himself. When we come back, we talk to Robbie Knievel.
Older eaters' feet are sweeter, fresher, drier, cleaner, neater. Just kick off your shoe, and you'll know it's true. Older eaters' feet are sweeter.
Only Odor Eater's insoles, sprays, and powders are fortified with genuine Arm & Hammer baking soda. They destroy, devour, and defend against foot odor and wetness.
Odor Eater's feet are sweeter. Odor Eater's feet are sweeter.
Life! Everybody's loving Life. That's what I'm talking about! It's the #1 comedy in America.
That's the warden's daughter.
You know who the daddy of the baby is? Life.
Aha! She was playing this game. What happened?
Rated R. Now playing.
Well done, Bruce Lee. But those men were flabby and weak.
Oh, Karate Kid?
Kid, I'm 35. You lack focus. My master will teach you.
Arnold from Happy Days? Lipton Brisk Iced Tea. Where did you get that? Editing mistake in my favor. Brisk, baby! Only fool fight man with Brisk.
She's got a system for everything, including one for paying a dime a minute on all the calls she makes. Sprint cents anytime. Now that is effective time management. Call 1-800-PIN-DROP now.
Do you want to hear it again?
Okay.
Okay. The very beautiful girl woke up, then she helped her mommy make breakfast. They made French toast, syrup, and juice. And then a terrible thing happened. The juice spilled itself all over, and it wasn't anybody's fault, and no one got blamed, right?
Right.
And she helped her mommy clean it all up. Then, that's the end. Tuck will take quick to pick her up her bounty.
You've been waiting for it. The most thrilling chases ever from around the world. An all-new special.
Look out!
World's Scariest Police Chases 6 coming up next on Fox.
You're watching WXTX, Fox 54 in Columbus.
We are back live at the Grand Canyon. The site all set. Mother Nature not cooperative today. In fact, not cooperative over the last few days. This has been a relentless series of bad weather days, from wind to cold, and today it was snow. And I know that Robbie Knievel, you were committed to this jump, even as recently as last night, without the preparation that many of your crew thought you needed. But today, I guess, was just too much.
Well, Mark, 29 years in this business, I'm still alive. I don't know what to tell everybody except that we're peeling chunks of wood out of my ramps. I mean, because of what the snow did this morning. You know, I said a prayer, God's will, let this be a wipeout or let it be perfect, you know, and there's got to be a meaning for everything. I am not going to go out in front of my little girls today. What my mechanic could really get, that was great, Bill. My mechanic could really get hurt bad if I ran him over.
But clearly your people don't feel you should be out there.
No, they don't. I don't either. I make the final decision, you know, and I was telling Bill, you know, maybe I should get my leathers on and try this, but the winds keep gusting, and that's how it's played with us the whole time. And I go 50 feet in the air off the rim, and the gusts come up underneath. And I could miss that whole 4-foot wide landing ramp, which I've never even used a ramp that wide, but I'm only using a ramp that wide because it's so high in the air. It's 25 feet high, and my takeoff's 31 feet. And, you know, I will come back and jump the part of the Grand Canyon that I said I would. April has given us bad weather. I have not been able to practice. The preparation has just been impossible, and all day today I could do nothing until 2 hours ago. In my mind, I said to myself, I'm not going to do this. I don't want to do it, and I can't even prepare for it right now. So I've hung and maybe thought it might get warm, but the forecast has been terrible, so it's just been really bad.
Let me just review with you, though. Up until this morning, you were committed to jumping. This is a decision that you have just come to.
Oh, well, in my mind, I started teeter-tottering. To tell you the truth, all day long. When I woke up this morning, I says, oh, 2 inches of snow, I can't jump today. And then it flurries all day until 1:30, and then it's freezing out there. If I was headed for that ramp and made 3 or 4 to 5 practice runs because I can't make any run-bys to preserve the cactus, I didn't want to tear any more up, my fingers would be frozen. I'd be going off that ramp, I'd be stiff as a board, and my eyes would be watering, full of tears, because of the wind, the cold wind, and I wouldn't even be able to see what I was doing. And this is the longest gap I ever tried, and that canyon drops down to 1,000 feet.
I know
you guys saw a crash with the dummy today anyway.
We certainly didn't want to have any problems with you, but I know how committed you were to jumping. And I know how much this meant to you, I guess. And so I'm curious what you feel at this moment to have to step away for it and put this off for another day.
Well, I've never backed out of anything. There's been a lot of gutsy people in this world for a long time, but I'm a survivor. My father's a survivor. We're professionals. There's a lot of bad things going on in this world, and I'm not going to jump my motorcycle in front of a bunch of little kids and kill myself today. Hey, I'm Captain Robbie Knievel. I will be back, and hopefully it'll be by the end of May. If the circumstances are right, the weather's going to be warm for sure up here by then. I mean, a week ago we were here, it was 85 degrees. This whole week has just been up and down, and to have 2 inches of snow is incredible. And David Hill called me in the truck today, the head of sports, and said, no risk whatsoever. He's Australian. No risk, Robbie. None. Zero. You got it, David. There's plenty of risk out there today.
I didn't know you did impressions. That's great, but I would say that your family, I would imagine, has to be relieved. I'm curious, were they urging you not to jump, or do they not even get into that area?
No, they don't urge me to do anything. I promised my daughters I would not jump if the circumstances weren't right. They're all praying for me. They're with me. They're going to go with me. My mom showed up right away today at about 2 in the afternoon. She says, "You're not going to do this, are you?" And I says, "I don't think so." But anyways, you know, I waited and waited, and it's cold. We're all cold out here, and we're going to come back, and we're going to do it right.
Robbie Knievel disappointed. We'll have more with him in a moment. The rest of Team Knievel, perhaps anticipating this, Ron Pitts is with Gary Davis. Ron?
All right, thanks a lot there, Mark, with Gary Davis here, stunt coordinator. Gary, tough decision by you guys. I know it's something very painful for you to have to make, but Robbie touched on what was going on with him and the bike and what the problems were. Talk to me specifically about the ramps and why that would be a problem with all the weather conditions we've had.
Well, the fact that they've been frozen all night was a real problem for me. I've been up there on the ramp, checking the ramp out, and all the top layers peeling off and stuff. And I, for the life of me, can't figure out how he would be able to hold any steady speed, and when he lands, it would go away from him. And I can't see that happening.
Yeah, was there any chance at all that they could dry out later on, anything like that? Was that a hope for you guys? It had to be when you got up this morning, even though the ground was covered with snow.
We came out immediately, even while it was snowing. We tried to do something about it then. As you know, it snowed till nearly 1 o'clock. there just hasn't been any time left to reskin everything.
Yeah, and you talked about picking up those pieces off the ramp. I walked out there, and you could see it starting to come up, and there you are right there. You're knowing right there it might not happen.
No, it's a mess. I certainly voted for him not to go, although Robbie's his own man, and I'm certainly glad that he chose not to do it today.
Will this mean you would make some changes? Does this give you a chance to step back, reload, reset some things that maybe, and I know you guys spend an awful lot of time doing it and setting it up exactly like you want it, but now that you have a second chance to come back, what will you change, if anything?
Well, the main thing is he'll get a chance to hit the ramps at this different level that we've set now. He's never had an offset like you touched on so many times of 9.5 feet more starting off in the air, puts him way the heck up in the air.
Okay, thanks a lot, and I know it's disappointment, but it's always another day. All right, let's go back to Mark Thompson.
And this is the Knievel trailer where the Knievel family is, and I wanted to quickly check with that family and see. Kristen, it's got to be a load off your mind, I suppose. Well, you were going to sing the national anthem today, so you had a couple of things to worry about. But how do you feel when you woke up this morning and you saw the snow? Did you think it might not happen?
Absolutely. I thought, no way. There's no way. I'm not.
And you're in a tough position because you don't want to urge your dad, I'm sure, but nonetheless, you're kind of hoping he makes the right decision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Carmen, what were your feelings when you woke up and saw the snow today? The weather's been so bad today.
Hey, it went from snow to rain. What are the chances of that? But I don't want him to do it. I don't want him to. I want him to come back, do it when it's right.
Well, it certainly was the opinion of Camp Knievel as well. Bill Rundle, you told us you would stand on the ramp and not let him do it. You felt vehemently that he should not be on that ramp today.
Oh, there's no question. You know, he scares the hell out of me anyway. I didn't know what he was going to do, but, you know, it was the wrong time, and everything was against us, but we'll come back and do it again another day. And
in fact, I've just been told that Fox has designated May 20th as a day that they'd like to see the attempt actually happen. Does that work for you?
I would like to see it too. If the possibility is there, the circumstances are right, I'll be back and I'll be ready to go.
Well, if you're here, we'll be here.
We can bring our shorts back next time.
Let's hope so. This has certainly kept us guessing. The weather has been the big factor.
I am going to make my 37th birthday May 7th. All right.
I want to show everyone again why Robbie isn't out there in his leathers making this jump. Today was a day that started with snows. Unrelenting snows for hours. There were accumulations of 3 inches of snow by noon, and the wind, the snow, and the cold continued. Finally, the snow let up late this afternoon, and we thought perhaps there'd be a chance that the ramps would dry out. But ultimately, what you saw was that the winds continued. There's more bad weather moving in. The winds are above any threshold that would be tolerable for Camp Knievel, and Robbie is very disappointed tonight and has just told us that he will try to be back out here. Late May would be the time, and if you're here, we'll be here.
God's got the plan for all of us.
I guess you need to have that attitude when you do what you do.
That's right.
All
Smile.
right.
Go ride on your boat for a while.
Thanks very much. I want to mention again May 20th. I've just gotten the word from the network that May 20th will be the date. Team Knievel will be back out here. As Robbie says, maybe the garb everyone will be wearing will be a little lighter because it is a wintry day here. Way too cold, way too windy, and far too wet to do anything more than talk about May 20th. Thursday, May 20th, we'll see you then as we look at the Grand Canyon. There is the ramp set up. In fact, one would wonder whether Camp Knievel and Captain Robbie Knievel might make some changes to the way the ramps are set up. They've seen them now sitting in this setting. I wonder, might you look at things and see that there might be specifics that you'd like to alter for the May 20th jump?
Oh, definitely. With the scaffold, the union guys had to come out here within a week. That was the whole thing. Was just the trucks, the semis that had to come down 14 miles of dirt road, bumpy dirt road, all the motorhomes, the whole setup, everything. We had to have it in. The practice session, the whole deal was just the weather did not cooperate. So it wiped us out. It pretty much wiped us out. And I could have got killed today, but I'm not, man.
Well, that's certainly the thing to be happy about, that perhaps nature was sending you a message. You have a view of sort of...
this canyon's big.
Yeah, it reminds you that there might be a force greater than us.
I know I can make the jump, but the weather's got to be good.
Yeah, today was the day that the weather was anything but good. And so we put it off for another night.
Promise. Keep me to that promise.
May 20th. I'm going to call you every day until then to make sure you're here. We thank everyone at Camp Knievel and everyone who made this Fox broadcast possible. You can see in this remote location, very, very difficult. And on May 20th, we hope the conditions will conspire to make it all possible. What a day it's been anticipating. For Ron Pitts, this is Mark Thompson live from the Grand Canyon. We'll see you live May 20th for the Robbie Knievel Jump then. Good night.
Friday, 9 people on one cycle, a woman with 2-foot nails. Plus, it's all the worms you can eat. Yummy. Guinness Prime Time, all new, Friday at 8 on Fox.
How do you stop a killer?
A man broke into my house last night.
Who lives inside your mind?
I feel the presence of evil, but I don't know if it's real or if it's someone playing with my fears.
This person is someone who knows you, Frank.
I saw you in my head. I saw you buried.
Millennium, an all-new episode, Fox Friday.
Now, Fox Thursday thrills with the all-new Police Chases 6.
Due to the graphic nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised.
That's on video, man! He falls onto the freeway. Oh! Oh, God! There's been a collision.
There's a war raging on the highways